the beginning of the summer this year, I bought myself a VR headset. I've been interested in VR for a long time. I'd watched various VR games and looked a lot at the recent innovations, like haptic gloves or the omnidirectional treadmill. Needless to say, I thought it was pretty cool. The only reason I didn't already have one is that there was a lot of setup involved, and you'd have to put these 4 stands in the corners of the room and deal with a bunch of wires. It also cost a fortune. I should have realized there was a reason that it cost that much before it was too late. It just seems like such a cool technology with so much potential. Potential that can be wasted. Earlier this year I was visiting family and was able to try their headset. It was an Oculus Quest 2. It was fun, but most importantly, completely wireless. I found out it had a good price and decided to get one. I'd later realize there was a reason the price was so low. My ignorance would become my downfall. I should have known this wouldn't be easy. After over a year of pandemic and horrible occurrences, I thought that I could just have something nice for once. I didn't realize how foolish that was. That nothing would ever be easy ever again. As I was buying the headset, there was conflicting information as to what I needed, so I just bought the wire and the headset fit adjuster to go with it. The adjuster turned out to be completely useless, but at this point, even though it was $40 down the hole, I shrugged it off, thinking it was just a small thing. Later on, however, it was just another item on the gargantuan list of problems. I also found out before I bought it that I would be forced to make a Facebook account. They were apparently the parent company to Oculus, and thought they'd shove their product down people's throats even more. I was reluctant at first because of all the scummy practices they do. It's probably on the top 3 list of worst companies in the world, although I can't remember many companies or know many foreign companies, so maybe not. They have extreme privacy invasion and deep data tracking. A part of this data tracking involves questionable targeted ads. They will be extremely specific or spreading misinformation. There's a multitude of scams to be found. It's known to have conspiracy theory echo chambers, where flat earthers and anti-vaxxers give each other validation for their harmful ideas and try to indoctrinate others. Sometimes it even connects terrorists, which I hope I don't have to tell you why that's bad. In the end, I reasoned that if I made a throwaway account, the data tracking wouldn't be too bad, and I wouldn't have to use Facebook for anything else but logging in anyways. Again, a small thing, until it was added to the long list of problems. As the list grows larger, so does the twinge of anxiety growing within me, a foreboding warning me that something is wrong, and I should stop now. But I'm in too deep. I spent almost $550 on this already. Money that I may never see again. I get my headset around early July. Because I have a job, I don't have a lot of free time to set it up. Because of this, it takes almost a full week and a lot of YouTube and Reddit tutorials to finally get it working. The headset itself can connect to the internet and play some 500 games. Most of them I have to pay for, and I wanted all my paid for games on the computer on Steam VR. This is because, as I mentioned before, I'm uncomfortable with Facebook, and don't want my games linked to that account or the Oculus. Also, if another similar headset ever comes out, I want to sell this one and jump ship immediately. Especially now, after all that I had to go through, only to end up with nothing and hundreds of dollars down the hole. I know it probably isn't a big deal to most of you, but I just don't like having to use Facebook. I also just wanted the process to be streamlined and easy so that I can have all my games on Steam, VR or not. There are also games I can only play on the computer, like Minecraft through Vivecraft, or Undead Development. Maybe someday, after many eons have passed, may my problems be resolved, and I can play them. I did get one game, Echo VR. It was quite enjoyable, but a little more low quality than some of the other things I tried, like the Super Hot demo. Go figure, it's made by Oculus. The headset also decides to lose tracking 5 times a play session, or may even forget the boundary I placed to not punch my walls, and I have to redraw it for a minute while my game is still going. At this point, that small worm of anxiety when the adjuster was found to be useless or when I was forced to get a Facebook account, it was evolving into something far worse. I began to feel regret for my decision. I thought maybe this was all a horrible idea and that I would lose hundreds of dollars on something that barely worked, becoming a waste of space that I'd never use, that it would be a constant reminder that everything I do on this earth is wrong and will blow up in my face, that nothing good could ever exist, and that I should just give up on trying to have anything nice. I didn't really care about these issues at the time, as the game was still fun anyways. At that point, I decided I wanted to connect it to my computer. Little did I know that this would be the worst mistake of my life. That there would be no coming back, no retribution, nothing to save me from the hellfire abyss that I was not prepared to enter. I was about to enter a world of redundancy, confusion, and utter pain and desperation. I'm not entirely sure what the Oculus computer app is used for at this point, but a lot of online tutorials suggested I use it. I download the app, and after waiting 10 minutes for it to install, I open it. It asks me to connect my headset. I think to myself that I can finally play some cool games. I think that finally, this whole mess will have been worth it. I should have known at this point not to be so naive. I should have known it wouldn't be that simple. I plug in my Oculus brand cable that I bought for over $100. This better work. I plug it in and hit connect on the app. It's loading, and loading, and loading. It doesn't stop. It can't recognize any device. A bit of panic starts to set in. That initial anxiety, which turned to regret, fuels that panic and makes me a little frantic. I'm calm enough to tell myself that this is probably a common problem with an easy solution. I go online, and after a few hours of research, I finally find my answer. I needed to update my drivers. Also, for some reason, when the Oculus plugs into the computer, it has a warning sign next to the USB port it's plugged into. I should have taken that as a sign from the universe. A warning that I don't want to do this. That it'll never work. I had to disable and enable that in Device Manager tab from the system settings. Finally, I get what I'm looking for. The app said that it connected. Little did I know, the app lied. I went to the headset, and in the settings, it says I was connected to the PC via the Oculus Link cable. I tried to start a game from the app on the PC, only to be met with an error message. It says that my controllers aren't connected. Apparently, even though they are connected to the headset, and the headset's connected to the PC app, the controllers won't connect. I have no idea what's going on. I decide to click controller setup, hoping it would resolve the issue. How could I have known? It would only make it worse. It told me to press 2 buttons at the same time on the controller. Instead of connecting it to the PC app, it disconnected from the headset. Why in God's name would it do the complete opposite of what it's supposed to do? Why did they design their headset like this? It seems to be actively against me. Yes, Oculus, I know there's a hardware issue, you don't have to tell me! At some point, I also received this message. It seems normal enough, talking about what will happen if I skip the setup. However, it says Rift S. What I have is a Quest 2. The app already knows this, as I have chosen that option, and it's even connected. Why is it saying Rift S? This just added to the confusion. I didn't know if the app I got only worked for a certain headset, and maybe I'd been doing it wrong all along. Or maybe Oculus had a problem not work again. Maybe instead of putting some code that inserts the name of the headset you're using, someone decided to write Rift S and call it a day. They care so little and have so many problems with their product already that this went unnoticed and caused me to go into a confused spiral where I doubted my own ability to read. I decided I had enough of their app and tried to connect to Steam VR. I wish I knew then that that would never be possible. I started up and am welcomed with a message saying, "Welcome. Please plug in your VR headset." I'm starting to lose any semblance of sanity I had left. It wasn't working here either. Why is it just refusing to work? I've been trying to fix this since early July, and at this point it's now late August. No one has any working answers. I've done hours of research for months and come up with nothing. After all that, I'm starting to realize why it's such a low price, and it's making me fed up with this whole thing. I decided, since I couldn't find anyone who had a solution that worked for me, I'd make my own post. I went on Reddit and detailed some of the things I already mentioned. I described my problem and got 7 different people who tried to help, one of which suggested turning it off and on again. I went through conversations that ran 11 replies deep, some of which were 656 words long. I got the same thing I've been getting, and it's starting to irritate me. They asked about the cable. I spent hours on that cable. If I had to spend over $100 and run all these diagnostics for their premium cable, for that to be the problem, I think I would have been livid. I would not be able to forgive these accursed souls for their sins. Thankfully, I don't think that was a problem, despite how often everyone liked to mention it. I also got a lot of people telling me to unlink and relink, or uninstall and reinstall, or turn my computer off and on again. I also got a lot of advice to amalgamate the 3 in random orders. I can't tell you how many times I did that. It must have been in the double digits. That I can be certain of. I would unconnect the headset, uninstall, turn off my computer, reinstall, reinsert the headset, and it would take an hour each time. Having to do this over and over was grating. They also mentioned virtual desktop. I didn't want to resort to that. I already spent hundreds of dollars for something that didn't seem to work, so forgive me if I'm a little wary about burying more money into this mess. After everything that has happened, there's no guarantee that it will even work. Thankfully, something good did come from this. I learned that Steam VR only works through virtual desktop or the Oculus app. It was something I didn't need to worry about. This was a feeling of bliss. My only respite in this chaotic, confusing mess. For the first time in this whole process, something made sense. Something was finally resolved. I also learned about Homeroom. When I said that in the headset settings, it said it was connected to the PC, I didn't mention that I clicked where it said that It loaded for 10 seconds, then returned me to the original screen. At the time, I thought nothing of it, and assumed that it just wasn't meant to be clicked. I couldn't have been more wrong. That was how you accessed Homeroom. That is how you accessed your computer. I start to philosophize and ask questions about it all. Why is this happening? Will it ever work? Is there some unseen, all-powerful entity that is hell-bent on making sure I never get answers? At this point, I said enough is enough and contacted Oculus support. I thought if I put it in someone else's hands, it would take some of the pressure off me, and I would finally get the answers I was looking for. I don't know why I ever decided it was a good idea to have hope. I don't know why I ever thought that I could fix this, or that somebody else would be able to fix this. I'd like to mention here that previously the app said the headset was connected, but listed the controllers as not connected. Now, it doesn't even acknowledge that the controllers even exist. So now I'm going to talk about the emails I got from the support. I'd like to mention that they were all very kind and understanding. They were like me, confused, and just trying their best. So I get the first email, and it gives me a few questions. We'll call the person helping me John. I'm happy to answer them, but there's one thing that triggered a mild amount of hate within me. It probably isn't justified hate, but at this point, I feel like anything is justified. They asked 6 questions, 4 of which were about the cable. Are you connected? What type of cable is your PC compatible? Are you using the right cable port? From this one email, I understood. No one can help me. I will still respond to humor them, but it was already set in stone. This shall haunt me for eternity, with no solace and no answers. John gets back to me. He gives me a big laundry list of possible solutions. None of them work. He ends the emails with the phrase, "Kind regards." I'm sure they were. At this point, another support agent had to come in. We'll call them Jesse. Jesse said I needed one more update. I knew one small update would change nothing in this endless void. I tried it anyway, and lo and behold, it didn't work. I tell them this and they send another email. They had to get a third person involved. We'll call them Bartholomew. They say I might have to wait another week. Thankfully, I get another email after one day. They involve someone else. We'll call them Mike. They ask about the link cable again. They ask more questions and I give them more answers, which seems to be the one thing I can't get. That hatred begins to grow within me. Not for these people helping me, but for Oculus, for Facebook. They don't care. It's as simple as that, but I knew that going into this. That's why it took so long for me to try contacting Oculus support, and that's why I know they have no answers. If they cared about what they made and knew about some of the bugs, then maybe, but they simply don't care enough. I look at the email I sent them. 3 of the 4 screenshots didn't go through, god damn it! A feeling of dread appears. Mike sends me another email. Thank you so much for clarifying these for me. He doesn't seem to even notice the missing screenshots. I find that, while relieving, it seems a little odd. He says that he will look into it with a specialized team. He says he appreciated my patience and understanding. He has no idea. They had to go through 4 people, John, Jesse, Bartholomew, and Mike, and a specialized team, yet they haven't responded for 20 days. I'm starting to think they just forgot about me, and hoped I forgot, and moved on with my life. I don't know at this point. It seems like the whole thing is a scam. Half of it isn't working. It'd be ironic. Facebook scamming me. After I said I can make a throwaway account and forget about it all those months ago, it finally comes back to haunt me. I should have known it wouldn't end there. A part of me wants to have closure and see how ridiculous this can get, and how far they're willing to go. See them pretend they have a solution. I want that chance at closure. Another part of me wants to end this nightmare, to return it and never touch virtual reality ever again. There's also a part of me saying it'll all work out if I just return it, get a new one, and hope it works this time. I was also thinking, maybe I'll see how long they ghost me. It's almost funny. Almost. However, while I was editing this video, they responded. After 21 days of silence, they sent me another email. Yes, I'm using the right cable! I was given a big list of steps to follow. This looked promising. I had to start with disabling my firewall, because apparently, their app is akin to a virus. I can't even turn it off in Task Manager, so it permanently takes up space on my computer. That's step 1. Wait, hold on. Why are there files missing? After I turn off the firewall, I have to disconnect my computer from the internet, reboot into safe mode, have that not work and try a different way of rebooting into safe mode. Microsoft just worked with me and reboot into safe mode. Attempt 3 work. Uninstall from delete all Oculus content from program files, and AppDate, and local law, and roam, and download cache. Then I restart into normal mode. Then I reconnect to the internet. Then install again using a specific link. After all that, I connect my headset and try it. It works. It actually works. After all this time, it's finally over. When I see the controllers connect, I feel a wave through my lungs and up and down my whole body of the sensation of disappointment. It's hard to feel happy after all this. It feels like this resolution is denying that these problems still exist, that everything is okay now, but it's not. I just wanted all of this to be over, but it doesn't feel over when I still have this accursed headset. I decided to ask why there were files missing. What seemed like such a crucial thing caused such a huge mess. I get an email from someone else, we'll call Matthew. They essentially say that something went wrong in install. We don't know what. Wait, who the heck is Matthew? Alright, look. I want you all to remember that the people helping me were very nice and probably just as frustrated. At least this story has a resolution now. I guess I'll keep this half-functioning brick. What else can I do? I've been working towards this for 4 months now. It still feels like there was no justice here, and that finding a solution denied the problems I went through even existed. I hope you enjoyed this unhinged rant. I'd love to know your thoughts. Am I overreacting? If you want to share your thoughts on this, you can leave them in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, you can let me know with a certain button. And if you want to see more from me in the future, you can always hit the subscribe button. Anyways, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!